let's call it energy, frequency leaving their body. And that's what my goal is to do the same to you. We'll figure it out. But as I said, for me, it's not just going in there and being dominating physically. I want to break him down spiritually and mentally.
I love that so much. The swagger this dude has, you know, just me saying it. It's not even like, you know, he's like trying to scare him or anything. It's just like so fact of the matter. Like just so you know, yeah, no, this is exactly what's going to happen. Just to look at his face the whole time. It's time for the Alpha Hour. Gotta talk about not one, but two alpha men, both accused of sexual assault, got the fucking shit beat out of them over the weekend.
Reaction there out of Jake Paul, but when he gets caught with his hands down and his chin served on a platter for that right hand right there. And look at Jake Paul's face. He knew it right away. He said, woo! I know that's Ric Flair, and he came out, not to Ric Flair, he came out to Hulk Hogan, but he's up on his feet. Reaction there out of Jake Paul, but when he gets caught with his hands down and his chin served on a platter for that right hand right there. And look at Jake Paul's face. He knew it right away. He said, woo! I know that's Ric Flair, and he came out, not to Ric Flair, he came out to Hulk Hogan, but he's up on his feet. Reaction there out of Jake Paul, but when he gets caught with his hands down and his chin served on a platter for that right hand right there.
Now, he got his jaw broke real bad. It's like this big now. It's gigantic. Anyone who doesn't watch or follow boxing, if you're like, why the hell does any of this matter? Why are you celebrating this? Okay, so this guy on the ground here, this is Jake Paul. He happens to be one of the probably biggest Vine star crossover to YouTube stars who have effectively been some of the worst figures on the internet for a long time now. And he's cultivated a lifelong career of kind of being what is known as a heel, being the intentional bad guy, get everyone to love to hate me. And he wanted to enter professional fighting. When he enters professional fighting, there are people who are fans, and I'm going to play you a little bit of Super Eye Patch Wolf soon, fans of professional fighting who also hate what he's done to the industry, because he came in there and he effectively said, I'm the greatest of all time, and everyone's like, you are nothing, you've never done anything. And he's like, sure, look, I'm gonna do a bunch of professional fights. He starts fighting people who are trained in completely other categories. So you might fight like an MMA fighter in a boxing ring, which, you know, that MMA fighter will still probably be able to, you know, turn me into some, you know, fresh ground beef. But for like, you know, a professional fighter who is trained in boxing versus a professional fighter who's trained in some form of MMA, it's not going to translate one-to-one. And in that case, they might not be as good as a boxer as they would be in a just bare knuckle brawl. Or you take someone who's really well trained in martial arts and normally would be able to fight really proficiently in the realm of martial arts. And you say, you have to fight me as a boxer, which has completely different rules, right? You can't use your legs. So I know that you're really good at using your legs. Kickboxers, for example, really proficient at kicking people in the face with your feet. You're not allowed to do that. And so Jake Paul was doing these kind of fights, and he was actually winning and you know, acting as if he's the greatest fighter of all time. While a lot of his fans, and this was with intent, by the way, he's really good at one thing alone, that's marketing, getting people to hate him and pay money to see him in bouts, right? But he was continuing this pattern where a lot of people were getting really mad, and they would bring up the fact that you're not fighting professional boxers. You're fighting people who have retired, who have been in retirement for a very long time. You're fighting MMA fighters, you're fighting kickboxers, you're fighting people trained in completely different fields. And now, oh my God, you are actually fighting the GOAT. You're going to fight Mike Tyson, but the guy is old as fuck now. Obviously, some dude half his age is going to be able to beat him in a fight. This is just a matter of biology, right? Like old man who was one of the deadliest boxers ever in human history, maybe the deadliest, versus very young man just trying to make a bunch of money by selling a lot of fucking tickets to the Netflix specials. This went on for so long, and he was racking in so much cash from it because obviously I wanted to watch the Mike Tyson fight. I wanted to see Mike beat him. I like, you know, it works. It's really, really good marketing to see this piece of shit who I will remind everybody, and watch Noah Samson's video if you haven't, who is very credibly accused of sexual assault. And when he was very credibly accused of sexual assault, all of that just kind of went away. It just all of a sudden, you know, he got his brother, Jake, he brought him on his podcast. He was like, all right, we got to talk about this very serious issue. She made it all up. It never happened. I don't know what she's talking about. You know, I never sexually assaulted her. This is just 100% someone trying to do this for fame and money, which is wild. Absolutely. Sorry, yeah, Logan Paul was the brother that he brought on to the show. We're talking about Jake. Jake Paul, the woman who accused him of sexual assault, provided a lot of receipts. A lot of evidence about it. Hey, pictures of her going to his mansion, pictures of her being there, text messages between the two of them, time-coded events. She like actually brought the receipts to this entire thing. She was already a very prominent TikTok star who did not need a whole bunch of people calling her a liar, calling her someone just trying to, you know, become famous off of, Jake Paul and a false accusation and stuff like that. And of course, when Jake and his brother Logan end up doing these like, oh, she's lying, the whole thing wasn't true stuff, all of their fans turn on her and they all start, you know, obviously swarming her YouTube channels, her TikTok videos, all that kind of stuff. She eventually had to make TikTok videos explaining, can you please stop DMing me pictures of people who have been sexually assaulted or images of sexual assault or AI video of me, being assaulted and stuff like that. She's like, it's incredibly triggering and it gives me PTSD. And I had to, like, I'm sorry, but I had to turn off my DMs. I used to have a function where I would let fans DM me and give me information or things they wanted me to talk about. I can't do that anymore because now it is filling up with all of these fucking Jake and Logan Paul fans who are bombarding me with all this fucking, you know, horrifying shit that is honestly ruining my life. So no, once again, the woman who accuses him of sexual assault did not do it for fame and did not become more famous as a result. And while she still is, yes, a famous and prominent social media content producer, she has had to live through hell as part of the experience of coming forward and explaining how this monster sexually assaulted her. And so that all also is another reason why I would take satisfaction to see this guy get the shit beat out of him in a professional fight. And he did. So in this case, he went up against an Olympic boxer. And it is, yeah, to the shock of no one, the Olympic boxer absolutely fucked him up. If anyone has a link to it, because I don't have it off the top of my head, but I watched it and it was funny as fuck. There's an interview between the two of them where he's like talking to the other dude, and the other guy, like, oh my god, does he ever have like just this like badass personality about him? And he's talking about how he's effectively just going to like steal his soul. I can't remember how he put it, but he's like, there's going to be a moment in this fight, and I know it's going to come where I stare at you, and part of you will leave your body, and you can just see like the entire time Jake looks terrified, like absolutely paralyzed. He's just sitting there like, as the guy, plain as day, is just like, it's an inevitability. At a certain point in our confrontation, you will see this moment occur where I'm going to effectively like watch your soul leave your body, and that's what I do, right? And he's just saying this as like a matter of fact, like, just, I'm sorry, this is what's going to happen, whether you like it or not. Yes, I am going to like Shang Tsung you in the ring in front of millions of people, and that's just going to happen. So yeah, that just so you know, I mean, like, I have no ill feeling towards you, no malice. This is a fight. A fight is a fight, but I'm just explaining to you what is going to happen. And then sure enough, we got to witness it.
Reaction there out of Jake Paul, but he gets caught with his hands down and his chin served on a platter for that right hand right there. And
is it this talk? I hope it is. So I wish I had it on the top of my head, but I was really, oh yeah, it is. All right. Hell yeah.
I've just seen in fights when I can.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate it.
You're gonna start taking it.
I've just seen in fights when I can see someone's, let's call it energy, frequency leaving their body, and that's what my goal is to do the same to you. You have that instinct. You can see it when you're fighting. You can just see a small glimmer of someone that's just about to start fading, and then you just keep exploiting that, until some people give up. Some people get knocked out. We'll figure out. But as I said, for me, it's not just going in there and being dominating physically. I want to break him down spiritually and mentally.
You're gonna start taking.
I love that so much. the swagger this dude has, you know, just me saying it's not even like, you know, he's like trying to scare him or anything. It's just like so fact of the matter. Like just so you know, yeah, no, this is exactly what's going to happen. Just look at his face the whole time. And when I saw this, it was a TikTok, and like there was a giant thing at the top, like, why would you fight someone who says this to your face? It's literally all business. I know it is. I know. Absolutely. It's a licensed and sanctioned fight, all right, of which you are going to be paid a lot of money. And yes, it is an entertainment and a sport, all right? So you have people and fans that you're obviously going to be hoping to entertain that day in the match. But like just the sheer level of confidence there, where it's not only that like, oh yeah, I know I'm most likely going to beat you. It's like, no, I want to describe to you what's going to happen. And in the middle of the ring, there will be a moment of which you lose your soul. I'm going to take that from you forever. And it will leave. I've seen that. I've seen it before, right? Where like an essence of a human just leaves their body. That's what I see happening here. Just so you know, I'm going to give you a play-by-play, all right, on how the whole thing is going to go down.
Look at Jake Paul's face. He knew it right away. He said, woo! I know that's Ric Flair, and he came out not to Ric Flair. He came out to Hulk Hogan, but he's up on his feet. Reaction there.
So that was beautiful, but it was only one of two. There was a second one that took place. All right, this is from another angle, just so you get it.
Down perfectly with what? The jab. The most basic punch in all of boxing.
Oh, that's like 4 in a row.
You get a little reaction there out of Jake Paul, but when he gets hands down and his chin served on a platter for that right hand right there. And look at Jake Paul.
I also noticed people online who are like, oh, the celebrations were immense. Everyone was having such a great time. And then like Jake Paul fans dropping in the replies like, yeah, he would fucking kick your ass, bro. He would. Congrats. You're correct. He is a professional fighter who has trained for this, who is a larger human being than me. He could beat me up. Congrats. He could beat you up as well. I hope that brings you some form of comfort. See, that's not how I view the world, though, in terms of this is a better person than me because he could beat me up physically. That means absolutely nothing to me. There's a lot of people who could beat me up physically. There's women who can beat me up physically. A lot of them, by the way. There are professional fighters who if I stepped in the ring with, I would get the ever-loving shit beat the fuck out of me. The difference is I'm not claiming to be the GOAT, and I'm not also claiming to be the fucking like one of the greatest fighters to ever do this particular sport. And there are people I know who are good fighters who would beat the fuck out of him, and that's what happened. And it's funny. that's all you need, right? But Andrew Tate, human trafficker, pedophile, child rapist, you name it. He also decided that he wanted to have a moment in which he returns to professional fighting. I don't know if you know about the mythos of Andrew Tate, but Andrew Tate, also him and his brother like to talk about how he conquered the sport of kickboxing. And then that was just the start of his career. Andrew Tate conquered the entire professional sport of kickboxing. He is one of, if not the greatest fighter ever to hit the ring in that particular field. He dominated for so long. And then after that, he moved on to deciding that he wanted to be able to bring his skills to the rest of all men, so he could actually train them to become alphas, top G's like him, because again, he is one of the greatest fighters of all time. Now, that's all myth making. If you look it up, he was not one of the greatest kickboxers who ever lived. In fact, he was a relatively successful semi-amateur kickboxer who fought mostly in European leagues, never in the elite ones. Of the elite tiers, there are certain elite tiers such as Glory, which is one of the biggest kickboxing tournaments in the world. There's K1, another one of the biggest kickboxing tournaments in the world. He didn't compete in either of those. And in those, that's the elite. That's the highest level that you can be in, where you will fight the deadliest and most aggressive kickboxers in humanity, because that's where they all compete and fight. Now, I'm not saying that it's not an accomplishment to fight in smaller leagues and smaller tournaments. It certainly is. Again, I'm not here to say I would fucking kick their ass. No, I would get my ass fucking handed to me if I tried to enter those rings. And in those is where he did have some relative success. But he was, again, an average fighter who fought in the non-elite leagues, mostly in Europe, and has what is considered to be respectful, documented history of wins and losses. That's it. He's not one of the world's greatest. But anyways, he ended up getting his ass beat by a YouTuber this weekend.
A shot like that, absolutely not. It's too easy to see, and Andrew Tate's simply fatigued, and he wasn't able to get out of the way of it. Too much weight. Beautiful shot by Chase around the Chase to Moore. Clearly dominated in round 5. A shot like that, absolutely not. It's too easy to see, and Andrew Tate's simply fatigued, and he wasn't able to get out of the way of it. Too much weight. Beautiful shot by Chase around the Chase to Moore. Clearly dominated in round 5.
I could watch both of these all day.
Absolutely not. It's too easy to see, and Andrew Tate's simply fatigued, and he wasn't able to get out of the way of it. Too much weight. Beautiful shot by Chase around the Chase to Moore. Clearly dominated in round.
So, yep, those books took place. Merry Christmas. It's a video of Andrew Tate being beaten to a pulp for Christmas. It must have been the Matrix that did it, right? It was the soy cuck Matrix that basically stopped you from winning. That's it. And feminism. I bet feminism had something to do with this. Fucking feminism. It's because his opponent was woke. That's it. Yep. And the Matrix and feminism. Those pink gloves scared him. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I do know that this is basically what happened over the weekend. These are your alphas, everybody. Can I effectively say woke is back? All right. 2.0. We've been waiting for a while. And here it is. Yeah, the so-called alpha males on their knees, begging for mercy. And here it is. Is this your alpha? I ask. Yeah? Do you not see soy before you as they lie in cowardice, hoping for it all to be over? Logan going the WWE route was so much smarter. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you don't have to worry about this. Also, I've seen non-stop Andrew Tate cope ever since this fight, including, like, he's made so many posts where it's just like, a lot of people said it could never be done, and they'll only talk about my loss. No, what they'll talk about for years was that even at 40 years old, I decided to brave it all and return to the ring because I have true courage and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I mean, sure, whatever you got to do to spin this. But yeah, I think a lot more of the world is celebrating the fact that you got your ass kicked.
So you got to give it up to Jake Paul. He went 6 rounds with one of the best boxers in the entire world. And while he didn't win, I think you got to say that the heart and that the determination he showed in this fight is absolutely worthy of praise. Is what some fucking horseshit Netflix documentary is going to say in about 8 months. So I watched the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight this morning. And man, I have thoughts, not only about the fight, but about a lot of the, we'll call it, commentary surrounding the fights. It's incredible to me that Paul still lost and you are still seeing all these allegations of like the fight being scripted and just like all this kind of shit. And I really feel like so much of it just comes from people who have never fought and will never fight. And look, I will say that I have a certain amount of training in boxing, in taekwondo, in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I am a dog shit fighter by professional standards. I am a hobbyist martial artist at best, but god damn it, I am proud of it. And I think I can give a little insight here because really it's just kind of nuts what people are saying. So if you want to know what the scam was with this fight, all you had to do was look at the size of the ring. It was fucking gigantic. And it was gigantic for a really simple reason. Paul's plan was never to win here. His plan was to run and duck and do everything he could to not actually fight for 8 rounds, then last for 8 rounds with Anthony Joshua and say, I went the distance with one of the best in the world. Yep. That is unquestionably, in my mind, the plan here, or at least it was. because Paul got absolutely starched with one of the most rancid straights I have ever seen. So first of all, let's talk about how Paul lasted 6 rounds with one of the best boxers in the entire world. And what I would say to that is, did he? Because what I watched was not a 6-round boxing match. It was 4 rounds of someone running for their fucking life.
Yep.
1 round of someone absolutely getting taken down, I think twice. I think Paul got knocked down twice in that 5th round. And then just a mauling in that 6th round. And I think people who are saying that, like, oh, Anthony Joshua went easy on him in the first couple of rounds, Anthony Joshua must have been paid off, it was rigged. I really, really, really don't think that's what was happening. I think what happened is that when you fight someone, it's actually very difficult to do anything with an opponent that is defending 100%. I had a roll just this week, and it was a guy I'd never rolled with before. He'd been doing jiu-jitsu for about 3 years, and he was a huge big guy. I would say like easily good 40 or 50 pounds up.
Twitchy Nap, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Hey, 5 of you just got a free sub from Twitchy Nap. Give Twitchy Nap a big thank you. It's very generous of you. And also to everyone who's asking in the chat, this is Super Eye Patch Wolf. Probably one of my favorite long form documentary YouTubers. I highly recommend checking out his shit. He does have a secondary channel. This is his secondary one, which is a lot less, professional. But his long deep dives into topics that you might not be interested in, such as Garfield, the history of Sonic the Hedgehog fan art, the history of The Simpsons fan art, Undertale, stuff like that, or maybe even anime stuff that I am not into in terms like all that other stuff. Not Garfield, but I'm into The Simpsons, and I'm also into Undertale, but not really into anime. He will make a video on like Chainsaw Man, not an anime I'd watched prior to watching the video, because again, he has this way of being so passionate about the subjects he speaks about, which he clearly is, that it is so infectious to an absolutely delightful degree. Like, you will be watching one of his videos and then like you can absolutely have zero interest in the subject matter. Like, I do not care about some very obscure esoteric game that was made in Romania that is super hard to beat and everyone thinks is so challenging. And I'm not going to watch a 2.5 hour video on that topic and then I hit play. And then all of a sudden, like, the time goes by like that, and I've had this like complete transcendental experience that is inspiring and like almost just like, oh my God, I can't believe the amount of emotions I experienced watching that video. And then by the end of it, I'm like, for something I don't care about. Like, I didn't care about Chainsaw Man at all. And then I watched this video on it. And I watched the first season of the show just because I was like, I want to see why, more than anything, he was so passionate about the way he was speaking about it and what exactly makes it interesting. So again, I would highly, highly recommend Super Eye Patch Wolf. I shouldn't plug him this hard because he's so famous. He's one of the biggest YouTubers already. But I'm just saying, in terms of like a content creator that you can trust, and I certainly adore, check out Super Eye Patch Wolf.
And he was really big and he was really strong. And so, like a lot of big, strong lads, he came in.
He's FD Signifier's token white explainer. Yeah, if you didn't know that, they do cross collaborations. They did a really funny one in the Sinners video recently where FD makes like some joke in the middle of it. He's like, if only I knew some kind of big content creator who's Irish, who knew a lot about the history of Ireland and colonialism and Britain and stuff like that, I could actually, and then like he pops up in the corner and he's like, wait, no! And then like that was the whole bit, but I thought it was darling.
And he tried to double leg me. I scooped him into a front face lock, and then I underhooked his arm, and then I got him in a cow catch. You can look that up. I won't explain what it is, but it ended up with me having him in side control. From there, he scrunched up his arm, so he's on the ground now, and I'm like on top of him, and he's like this, and he's just doing everything he can to not let me grab a wrist or isolate an arm or anything like that. And because he's so big and strong, there's not a lot I can do. Now, I'm never in any danger of losing the position, but in terms of sinking in a nice submission on him, it was really, really difficult. And I must have been there for like 3 or 4 minutes, trying to bait him different ways before I was actually able to catch him. That is exactly what we saw with this fight. You had Jake running away, you had him covering up and just being as defensive as he could, while just throwing out the very kind of like, the very mildest kind of offense. But never really committing to it. Even the one decent right he landed, Joshua shook off in like a second. But then we get to the most cowardly shit I have ever seen in a boxing match. Because what Paul was doing is that he was incorporating grappling. And so there's two ways he did this. And the first is like kind of legit. It's when whenever Anthony would get close, Paul would like just grab him in a bear hug and just hold on for dear life. Because while he's like that, Anthony Joshua cannot knock Paul out. You have to have someone at the right range to knock someone out. 1-inch punches do not exist, and it's very difficult to hook someone when they're literally like hugging your chest and have their ear pressed against you. Like you cannot build up the torque or power to do that. So whenever this looked in any danger of turning into an actual fight, Paul would clinch, or, and I could not fucking believe what I was seeing here, he would shoot for a takedown. He would literally go down on his knees and try and ankle pick Anthony Joshua.
So that's where we get those pictures from.
In a boxing match. And it was like pathetic. It was genuinely so cowardly. So let's explore why he did this. We know that he wanted to go the distance, okay? But how come you never see an actual boxer do that? And the reason for that is an actual boxer would never fight like this, because an actual boxer wants to win. They want to show that like they are the better boxer, that they have trained, that they have put more time in, that they have committed themselves to the art of boxing and have developed the skills necessary to win. Paul is not interested in that because he's not a real fighter. He's a clown. You might as well put up a fucking circus tent around the ring for the actual intention here. Because all Paul wanted to do is he wanted the fight to go the distance, and then he wanted to claim that he went the distance with one of the best in the world. And it kind of worked for about half the fight until the 5th round, when now Paul was tired and couldn't keep running away. He couldn't keep up the pace of just like taking down Anthony Joshua and like running around the ring. And when he got tired, the inevitable happened. He got caught. He got utterly outclassed, outpowered, outsped, outskilled. This was like watching a rabbit fight a tiger. And a lot of people expected that, but I think people didn't expect it to go into the 6th round. I'm not surprised it took this long, because having studied Paul's fights, as you can see in my video, how Jake Paul keeps winning fights, I knew there was going to be some bullshit. And there was. As for Anthony Joshua, he was very like respectful of Paul after the fight. And the reason for that is simple. He made such unfathomable amount of monies from this fight. I haven't looked up how much he made. I don't need to. It was some ridiculous number that most of us will never even be able to comprehend. And I'm sure he would like the idea that they could do this again someday and he could make that same amount of money. So like he gave his dues to Paul. Paul isn't paying me anything. This was some cowardly fucking bullshit. And I think worse, it's like I see people giving him props online, and it's like, do you realize what you are giving props to? This is a guy who has the money to hire the best training, the best coaches, the best nutritionists, the best physios, all the like most cutting edge imaginable technology in the world, going up against people who never had those privileges, going up against people who like made themselves boxers, and Paul is pretending to be them. He's pretending that they're on even footing, when the truth is that even with all Paul's advantages, he is an utterly mediocre boxer, like nowhere near world class, and never will be. All this fight is the same shit Paul's fights always were, going in with some weird exploitive game plan. And it doesn't matter if it's challenging MMA fighters to boxing matches. I'm not going to explain again why that is so dumb. Go watch my video. Or beating fighters with records more padded than the walls of the lunatics who are giving Paul props for this one. Despite all his advantages, he looked like a scared child in there. And listen, look, like, I am not a great fighter, not even close. But like, a lot of the people I train with, they show up before work. They come in after work. Some of them train like, twice a week, 3 times a week, and that's all they can manage because, they have jobs, they have lives and responsibilities. Those people are infinitely more fighters than Jake Paul will ever be. I will say it again. I am not a good fighter by any stretch. I would so much rather. I
also hate that you have to do this as like a precursor to be able to talk about this, though, because you will get the Jake Paul like reply guys who are just going to flood all you or your comment section or be like, oh, he could take you, bro. And it's like, sure, but we're not 12. And if you want to fight someone, especially in the professional arena, There's consent involved, right? Like you agree to have a licensed fight with another person. You're also completely allowed to be like, oh no, I'm not going to fight Jake Paul. I'm going to laugh at him. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, for being a coward. And honestly, it's really satisfying to watch him get the shit absolutely beat out of him. That's where I stand.
Have my skill set earned honestly with a genuine attempt to grow, then whatever the fuck Jake Paul is doing.
To everyone who's been asking, go support Super Eye Patch Wolf. This is his secondary channel called Regular Eye Patch Wolf. And then do the thumbs and the subscribe and all the good things.
Thank you so much to our patrons for making this show possible. We could not fund it without you. And if you want to join, please check out patreon.com/theserfs to unlock bonus episodes, uncensored content, and all the good stuff. Thanks to Anna Loves Riley, Addercap, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hegbard Salim, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Tigwick, and Words Greenwood.